Hello, dear friends, welcome to our YouTube channel, USA Football Zone, latest football highlights. 2 goals in 12 minutes, a devastating 4-1 defeat on the home turf of their fiercest rival. For Brazil, this was not merely a loss, it was a public humiliation on the world stage, their heaviest defeat in the history of World Cup qualifiers. Yet, this historic result was no fluke, nor was it solely the product of one player's extraordinary brilliance. It was the outcome of a masterful game plan devised by Lionel Scaloni, executed by a team that proved itself to be far greater than the sum of its individual parts. Even without Lionel Messi, Argentina delivered a message that sent shockwaves through the footballing world. So how did Argentina's aggressive pressing and lightning-fast midfield rotations forge a tactical masterclass that completely dismantled Brazil? Let us dissect the game plan that not only secured a victory but, from the very first whistle, utterly crushed a footballing superpower. From the moment the opening whistle blew at the Estadio Mas Monumental, it was evident that Argentina was playing with a point to prove. They had already secured qualification for the 2026 World Cup prior to kickoff, yet there was not a single trace of complacency or a lack of intensity in their performance. Instead, they unleashed a calculated storm of chaos, one that Brazil simply could not handle. It all hinged on 2 key elements: a suffocating high press and intelligent midfield movement, which ruthlessly exposed the gaping vulnerabilities within Brazil's defensive structure under the management of Dorival Jr. Brazil typically adopted a 4-4-2 formation when out of possession. However, their shape was woefully disjointed. A vast chasm existed between their midfield and defensive lines, a weakness that Argentina ruthlessly targeted. The initial signs of their pressing strategy emerged whenever the ball was played to one of Brazil's 2 central midfielders, Andre or Joe Linton. The moment the ball reached the opposition, it signaled a coordinated, full-team press. Rodrigo de Paul, Enzo Fernandez, and Alexis Mac Allister would immediately swarm the player in possession. By cutting off every simple passing lane, they forced their opponents onto the back foot and dispossessed them deep within their own half. This was no mere haphazard running. It was a calculated offensive strategy. Argentina's wing midfielders, De Paul and Thiago Almada, drifted infield to create an overload in the center of the pitch, thereby amplifying their collective presence. This completely overwhelmed the Brazilian midfield. They had neither the time to bring the ball under control nor the space to execute a pass. Their entire build-up play was stifled before it could even begin. The opening goal, scored just 4 minutes into the match, served as a perfect illustration of this tactic. Following a spell of intense pressure from Argentina, a pass found its way to Thiago Almada, who deftly threaded the ball through to Julian Alvarez. The Manchester City striker executed the finish with effortless composure, leaving defender Murillo in his wake. He beat goalkeeper Bento with remarkable steadiness to slot the ball into the net. 1-0. The game plan had worked to perfection. Exactly 8 minutes later, they repeated the feat. This time, the second phase of Scaloni's strategy came to fruition, a shift in the midfield structure coupled with the fullbacks pushing forward. As the Brazilian midfielders scrambled to plug the gaps in the center, open spaces emerged on the flanks. Argentina's right back, Nahuel Molina, surged forward to deliver a pinpoint cross for Enzo Fernandez. Without a moment's hesitation, Enzo burst into the box and met the ball in mid-air to score. Within just 12 minutes, the score stood at 2-0. The Brazilian side looked stunned, rattled, and utterly disjointed, both tactically and in terms of their actual play. They were in complete disarray. For a fleeting moment, it seemed as though Brazil might have found a glimmer of hope. They scored in the 26th minute, though it was a stroke of sheer luck rather than the result of any tactical brilliance. Christian Romero, typically a standout performer, committed a rare error in his own half, losing possession to Matheus Cunha. The Wolves forward unleashed a powerful long-range shot that took a deflection, wrong-footed Emiliano Martinez, and found the back of the net. It was a spectacular solo effort, yet it stood as one of only 3 shots Brazil managed to take throughout the entire match. The hope this goal had kindled in the minds of the visitors was shattered just 10 minutes later. Argentina neither panicked nor retreated. Instead, they reverted to the strategy that had been proving effective, re-establishing their firm control over the midfield through clever movement and rapid, precise passing. Scaloni also utilized his holding midfielders Leandro Paredes and Rodrigo de Paul as decoys, operating deep and in close proximity to one another. they drew the Brazilian defenders out of position, thereby creating significant pockets of space between the two defensive lines. It was precisely this space that Argentina exploited to score their third goal. Enzo Fernandez, who had been dictating play throughout the match, floated a ball into the box, and Alexis Mac Allister duly steered it into the net. Mac Allister timed his run to perfection. Arriving at full pace just before the break, he left Bento helpless as he volleyed the ball into the net once again. He put it away, 3-1. The two-goal lead was restored, and the message was clear: Brazil's goal had been a fluke. Argentina's dominance was the reality. At halftime, Dorival Jr. realized he had to do something. To inject some energy and stability into the squad, he made 3 substitutions, bringing on Endrick, João Gomes, and Leo Ortiz. By pushing forward, Brazil forced Argentina into a more direct style of play. But this is precisely where Scaloni's side showcased their true genius, their ability to adapt to the situation. For a few minutes, Argentina struggled to cope with Brazil's new strategy, the intensity of it all, but then they adjusted. Instead of trying to force passes through the opposition's press, they began playing long, diagonal balls, not merely speculative shots, but perfectly executed, game-changing moves designed to drag Brazil's disjointed team from one flank of the pitch to the other. The changes made at halftime proved to be a complete failure. Brazil's attack remained toothless. A Rafinha free kick that rebounded off the defensive wall was one of their few genuine attempts of the match. Their vaunted attacking trio Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Rafinha was completely anonymous. Meanwhile, Scaloni demonstrated the extraordinary depth of his squad. In the 68th minute, he substituted Thiago Almada with Giuliano Simeone. Just minutes later, the substitute sealed Brazil's defeat. A beautifully orchestrated team move culminated in a cool, clinical finish by Simeone off an assist from Nicolas Tagliafico, taking the scoreline to 4-1. It was a goal that encapsulated the entire evening. Despite the presence of individual substitutes on the pitch, the team's collective strategy reigned supreme. This was not a game defined by 1 or 2 stars, it was a game of tactical identity that completely consumed the entire team. The victory was a cause for celebration, but the team's performance felt nothing short of a coronation. First, Argentina's game plan proved to be the perfect antidote to Brazil's greatest weakness. Dorival Jr.'s side was in complete disarray defensively, lacking any semblance of discipline or structure. The moment Argentina's players began rotating positions, their man-marking system crumbled. This scattered Brazil's defenders across the pitch, creating vast spaces for Argentina to exploit. Due to Argentina's overwhelming presence, Brazil's midfield was left completely exposed, and their defense found itself under constant siege. Second, Brazil could not even come close to matching the intelligence and coordination displayed by Argentina. While Brazil's stars appeared to be merely a collection of individuals, Argentina played like a single, destructive machine. Players like Rodrigo de Paul and Alexis Mac Allister emerged as new leaders on the pitch. They dictated the tempo, controlled possession, and drove the team forward. This chemistry, forged under Scaloni's guidance, has arguably transformed them into the most complete team in the world. And finally, there was Brazil's complete mental collapse. Argentina's early goal and relentless pressure shattered Brazil's morale. They became trapped in a chaotic, reactive mode of play, unable to find any kind of response. The result was a historic defeat and a humiliating spectacle, one that cost Dorival Jr. his job just a few days later. This 4-1 victory was about far more than just 3 points. It was a statement. It proved that, even in the absence of Lionel Messi, Lionel Scaloni's Argentina remains an unstoppable tactical force capable of adapting to any opponent, devising new strategies, and crushing them. The early pressure, the complete dominance of the midfield, and the way the players seamlessly executed the tactical game plan, all of this combined to create an extraordinary performance that will be discussed for years to come. It was a night where Brazil's individual brilliance paled in comparison to Argentina's collective tactical prowess. It was a performance that sent a message to the rest of the world: this is a new Argentina, one that might just be even better than the World Cup winning squad. What did you think of Scaloni's remarkable tactical masterclass? Was this Argentina's best performance since winning the World Cup? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy this kind of in-depth tactical analysis, please like this video and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.